Are you looking for a character you can play basically on autopilot? Hide underneath the ground and smoke the enemies and swallow them up whole? Well, don't worry about that because this Jeff, as I'm calling it, Bubble Butt, because he's headbutting niggas and he's dropping bubbles, happens to be one of the funnest builds. Let's get it.
He came and he saw and he conquered. I got a slay at the concert. You know the story, the tortoise in here. You want the glory, your nose in the air. I couldn't care less about your money, phone, and your pair of shoes and your side hoes.
What's good, nieces and nephews? Big Unc Chaos here to give you all the Jeff Bubble Butt build, as I'm calling it, because he drops bubbles and he headbutts niggas. It's B-U-T-T, like a headbutt, not butt as in on some Diddy shit. If you like this type of content and have enjoyed the latest Marvel Rivals PvE videos, let me know in the comment section and let me know who you want to see next, because I'm super excited and pumped to just really deep dive into this build. No pun intended. Let's start off by taking a look at Jeff's abilities, equipment, just to show you guys exactly how I cooked up this monstrosity. So for starters, I noticed that Jeff's ramming capabilities are great for mob clearing. Not the best against bosses, but I overall am not a fan of his squirt, so I went with no Diddy, no Drizzy. I went the deep sea propeller to focus on his underground ramming build. If you take a look at my armor, my gear, I'm prioritizing health more than anything when it comes to the armor, as well as getting a little bit of that on the amulet as well, mainly because Jeff is going to be very close to people. He does heal up, but you're going to have to factor that in with some of the crowd control effects from enemies and bosses. Next up here, I've got amazing triple S tier item here. Unfortunately, the hide and seek ramming bonus is a little bit lower from the frenzy. However, I've got another gear that can take care of that. So overall, you're looking for some pretty high gear. I won't even lie to you guys, if you want this build to be successful, you're going to want to be looking for something with at least high support for energy while you're underground, and then another one specifically for the ram effect. You want to get that increased as much as possible, because that's how you're going to be taking out a vast majority of them. Now, a quick look into my moves. I want to factor in a couple things here. I'm not going to waste time reading every one to you guys again. As far as these goes here, I've got, some basic things on my maximum damage output, a couple things for output, nothing too crazy, and I'm focusing all in on the ability aspect of it, and I'm going for the critical damage here. Now, the reason I'm going for the critical damage at the end is because my critical hit rate is 76. Now, precision is nice. Precision damage is okay. You can easily make it get higher, but with the rate being capped out where it is, I feel like focusing on the critical side is going to be more beneficial for you. Now, as far as the other moves I have, for the most part, you're going to see a lot of yellows. My gear allows me to circumvent some of this, so I only need one in here, for example, in order to get my energy restoration based off of killings. Hide and seek ram damage up 251%. You guys will be seeing some gameplay of that as well, obviously, on the screen, of me just holding the button and dashing in. And I also increased just the overall Jeff's damage being boosted from here. I did decide to max this one out because health increase and damage boost for 60%. I can't pass that up. Movement speed during hide and seek is also great. I wish I had an ability that scaled this up a little bit higher, but that one's been very difficult to find. Let me know in the comment section if you found it. Hide and seek damage scales with speed, so coefficient is 90. If I could get these two up, that's gonna be the biggest way to increase my immediate damage. I skipped out on the ult charge from being, I guess, underground during hide and seek. It just doesn't have that much, I guess, value to me. I don't really see the purpose of doing it. Mainly because of the fact that, your ultimate's all right, but once you get up to that giant big boy mode, you're not really going to be caring about it anymore. Next up, I can cast healing bubbles during hide and seek, put 3 into hide and seek moving, using hyper sprint to ram into bubbles will no longer pop them, will instead triggers spreading shockwaves. Very good for crowd control, very good for hitting a lot of people. During hide and seek, using hyper sprint to ram into bubbles increases shockwave damage by 2,000%. Sorry, not 2,000%, but 2,000. And after swallowing with the enemies, you do damage to them while you're in there. I don't really necessarily need this, but for the times I have used it for, just getting things out of the way, clearing a path for my team, it's been helpful. Now we've got the only blue item on here. Participating in a KO restores a healing bubble on charge. Final hits restore more. Healing bubble cooldown is reduced. This is very good. For those of you who don't understand, the way the build's going to be played is you're going to be underground. I even reconfigured my keybinds in order to do this. While I'm talking about this, feel free to look at me scrolling over to the left side at all my stats so you guys can see them. But what's going to happen is you're going to be using your bubbles as well as your ramming to just put out the maximum amount of damage. It's pretty simple, honestly. I actually configured my spray to my bubbles. So now, because I play on controller even though I'm on PC, so now it lets me just, you know, hold that while I'm underground and shoot him. These are my overall stats. Now for the Arcana, I'm gonna tell you something that's a little controversial here. I know everyone says for health and total output, but the key of this game is gonna be the gear. It really is. So if you want the gear to be good and to be able to do this, I'd put everything into these two, honestly, and just go down to a level as high as you can while still being successful. Level 71's a great point. You still get the level 60 gear, and you don't have to worry about fighting, you know, a crazy, 3 to 4 bosses. I also plan on doing a tips and tricks video, so be on the lookout for that as well. So the overall playstyle with the build is going to be simple. You want to swallow people whole with Jeff and pause early on because it's going to increase your maximum damage. Once you do that, toss them into a corner, drop some bubbles, and then bash right into them. That's essentially all you're gonna have to do. Wash, rinse, and repeat. Now, if you have some like a Squirrel Girl on there or a Moon Knight that are dropping unks that also contribute to that crowd control effects, you'll even be able to, just essentially consistently ram them. With this build, you're a boss like stomper and a mob clearer. The boss has trouble killing you because they can't keep up with your speed, and the enemies are so weak you end up just knocking them down. This is also a great way for those of you who don't know, a little free tip here. If you kill more enemies without dying, you get better gear. I'm not sure how that works or why that works that way, but I believe it's based on the number you kill without having that many deaths. So that's something to keep in mind as well when it comes to Jeff. Something else to remember is some of the enemies are crowd control immune. So when it comes to bosses, your ult's going to be useless. When it comes to some of these elites, it's not going to matter too much. When it comes to your gear, you're going to want to be primarily focusing all in on just damage. I'm going for the health options here because I'm getting a bunch of things that are useless like ult, ability charge. So if you end up choosing between things like damage or ability charge, damage reduction, and health, I would probably prioritize them with close damage. Damage to bosses is already great because you do plenty of damage to these guys. I'd also then recommend having, the extra 10% damage boost, but I would not honestly advise too much on the ability one if you don't really need it. I'd go to something like health improving or damage reduction, because with Jeff being such a close range fighter, you're going to want to keep yourself alive. Obviously, dealing 20% extra damage to close enemies will be your best pick, but you don't really need that. I mean, this is a level 80 we're on right now, Nightmare. One of the people in my comment section was telling me that a lot of people are allegedly hard stuck at 75. I don't know how true that is, but if that's true for you, please join my Discord. I need people to play with. I'll carry you even. It's gotten to the point where this game is so fun that I'm even willing to carry people. I mean, I've got 4 characters on level 60. Basically, quit my job, told my wife I was gonna go get some milk, and I haven't been back since. I've been playing in my garage, so I got nothing. I'm kidding. But all jokes aside, I'd love for you guys to join the Discord, be a part of the community, and play some PvE with me. If you guys want to grind to those higher tiers, let me know. I will be making some solo build lists because I'm making this as a general one. You can use this with basically any team composition that doesn't suck. Notice again, I don't have a Squirrel Girl here to really clump them together, but I had a game yesterday where I did, and it was just, night and day. The enemies were getting their teeth kicked in. Now, I'm going to leave you guys with one little last gift here, just of me fighting off the bosses. I want to show you guys how we do against, some bosses, because a lot of builds struggle with either being able to do damage to mobs or clearing out bosses. They typically don't get both, but I think that this is one of the few builds that can do it. Jeff is great, it's a great power fantasy to live through if you're a Jeff player. I will say to caution yourself because you can't stay in the ground as long because there's no enemies to kill. It's probably better against someone like a Dracula than it would be against Cap or Kingpin, at least till Kingpin summons out his little homies. But yeah, I'm gonna leave you guys for the rest of this video, see how it goes. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know who you want to see next, or if you want to see the next Jeff variation. I'd be happy to drop either. Hope you guys are having a great day, and be sure to tell your auntie I said hi.